Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sandman. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Multipick Elite 39 Lock Noob Essential Selection Kit pick set. Let's get into it. First off, I have been collecting lock picks for over 15 years. I have over 40 different pick sets in my collection. I am a former locksmith and I am a purple belt lock picker in the Reddit karate belt system. So I do pick high security locks from time to time, but I still suck, just kidding. And in the past, I have purchased the Christina Palmer lock pick set. And I love that set so much that I purchased the Turning Tool Set 3, which I have reviewed in the past. It is my absolute favorite set of turning tools. And I have also purchased the Lock Noob Community Edition Multipick G Pro Elite set. And I love this. This is my favorite dimple pick set that I have in my collection. This is all that I use. And I have the finest dimple picks, from custom handmade stuff, all kinds of bougie stuff. I love Multipick better than all of that. Why am I doing this review? Multipick messaged me and said, hey, how come you haven't done a review on the Lock Noob set? And I said, well, I don't have that in my collection as of yet. Maybe I'll be able to get one down the road. And they said, here, hold my beer and we'll send you one. They sent me this pick set to review and I love it. It is, of my 40 pick set, it is the most complete lock pick set that I have of my 40 pick sets in my collection. And we are going to talk about why that is. First, let's talk about the price. This bad boy retails for 210 euros without the VAT cost, 210 euros. So that puts us in the big Tim price range. This is totally within somebody's budget. It's not going to be a little Tim set. This is not going to be a Timothy set. It's not even going to be a Tim the Contractor set, but it is going to be a big Tim. And that is something that is normal. We do see pick sets within that price range of the 200 USD price mark. And so if you are a professional, if you are a locksmith, if you are a collector, if you are a procurer of fine tools, high quality tools that show obvious craftsmanship and have collectible ability to them, then this is going to be in your price range. And that's in the euros. This is also going to retail for 180 British pounds sterling or $231 net before there is shipping. And the shipping is DHL, and this sucker showed up like a week after it was sent. No problems whatsoever. I love DHL shipping. So let's talk about the pick set itself. In this unique 39-piece lockpick set, ambitious lockpickers will find a selection of the picks appreciated most by Lock Noob, and which he uses on a daily basis. Besides the Abona and Moneth rakes, designed by Lock Noob himself, these are comprised of, without exception, 19 selected multi-pick elite picks plus 2 elite dimple lock picks, 16 different multi-pick elite tensioners, including 3 top of keyway tensioners and 3 champion tensioners. CHR Holler, I think that stands for Christian or Chris Holler, and 3 dimple lock tensioners round off this rich, high yield, high quality set. And so this gentleman that designed these tensioners, he's actually a world champion lock picker, if I remember correctly. The quality features the ultimate lockpick set in worldwide unrivaled high-tech quality. Finest pick tips, ingenious spring steel, perfect workmanship, high quality individual design, perfection down to the last detail, no duplicate picks or tensioners, 100% made in Germany by Multipick. Of course, this elegant set is housed in a fold-out genuine leather case, a must-have for every Lock Noob fan. Here's the deal. I'm a big fan of Lock Noob. I've been following his videos for the entire time that he's been on YouTube. He's not just a really great reviewer. He's an amazing lock picker. That's really why I follow him. I learn a lot from his videos. And of course, he does a lot of reviews for Multipick, but to be fair, he does a lot of reviews for every company that produces picks around the world. Everything from China to America to Canada to Europe and Australia. I've seen him do reviews, and he eventually was able to put together a pick set of his favorite picks. And I think the guy really hit the ball out of the park with this. Everything that I would want in a lockpick set, but I'm not experienced enough or intelligent enough to put together a pick set like this. I just couldn't have done a better job. He really did a great job, and let's talk about it. Let's just work from right to left. First, I have my tension wrench. This is a spanner wrench. This is really great for shutter locks or anything with unusual size keyways like institutional locks or mogul cylinders. Anything that you see in prisons or anything that you're going to see that has a really large keyway, this is going to fill that up nicely, and you just pick in between that. I love that. I'm going to be purchasing this turning tool set separately to put in my everyday pick kit. I'm also, during the Black Friday sale today, I'm going to be purchasing my own separate pick case and all the turning tools that I personally like to use. They have a very new one called the Facet. It's very similar to a half diamond. I'm going to be purchasing, I'm putting together my own pick set that's going to have all the turning tools from this set and the Christina Palmer pick set. So when I talk about these turning tools, understand I love them so much, I'm buying another copy of them. This set was given to me, but I'm going to be buying a set for myself. So I have 3 top of keyway tension turning tools. People recognize these as pry bars, made famous by Peterson Manufacturing, but he took the idea from the lockpick design manual, which was published in 1972, 1973 by an unknown publisher. These were actually designed for European Euro profile type cylinders. And these are what you need for top of keyway turning tools. There are other varieties such as these ergonomic ones, and we will talk about this, but this is your go-to. This is what you want to start out with lockpicking. This is what you will end up in lockpicking. We have a 0.8 millimeter, a 1.2 millimeter, and a 1 millimeter. Let's go ahead and bust out my calipers here. Make sure they are put in imperial and an inch. They are zeroed out. Okay, so let's take a look at the 0.8 millimeter first, and that's going to come in at 31 thou. And then let's take a look at the 1 millimeter, and that's going to come in at 39.5 thou. Let's call it 40 thou. And let's take it the 1.2 millimeter, and that's going to come in at about 47 thou. So roughly, we can just call it 30, 40, and 50 thou, which is standard for North American locks. So if you are in North America and you're intimidated by the millimeters, my friends, don't worry about it. They have all the sizes covered. Moving forward, so we do have the short end of the top of keyway, and we have a more longer end for recessed locks for top of keyway on this opposite end. I promise you, you'll probably use this 99% of the time. And when you're not using those, you are going to want to use these ergo turning tools. And I call them ergo because, let me pull out my multi-pick cutaway here. I'll be doing a review on this guy tomorrow. When you are using this in a keyway, so this is a Euro profile cylinder, you're going to see these in Europe like this, but I'm in North America, all of our locks are in here with a pin stack on top. This is considered ergonomic because that 90-degree bend, you place that in the top of the keyway, and now you can flex, and I can pick out of the lock just like this. It's super comfortable in my hand. So these are really great for picking padlocks or door locks or any type of house lock that you can hold in your hand or in your lap, or a padlock that's attached to a fence and you can bring it to your torso or body level. This is the type of turning tool I would use. If I was picking a door lock or a deadbolt cylinder that is attached to a door, or if I'm picking a lock that is inside of a table vise, or if I'm picking a high security lock that requires the advanced technique of what is called float picking, I would take this turning tool and I would place it at the top of the keyway right here. It's not as ergonomic holding it in my hand. It's still doable. I have to kind of cock my wrist at a funky direction, but as this is placed inside of a door, it is it's just practical, and I have the ability to pull back on it and bring it back forward as I navigate those high security pins, whether that be gin spools or whether that be Christmas tree spools or anything that I'm going to see in an ASA alloy, like an ASA Twin or an ASA 700 or an ASA 6000K or my Ruco 600 or anything like that. This is for high security locks. I love that he didn't just put together a pick set and threw in some top of keyway turning tools like these and then call it a day. This guy knows that you're going to pick locks using top of keyway turning tools, whether it be in your hand and you want it to be comfortable and have that what I would call a 90-degree angle, or you can have it completely vertical and it's in line with the pin stack. Moving on, let's talk about, this is really great for shuttle locks as well. So we have the spanner wrench right here, but then we have what is just essentially specifically for shutter locks. So some locks have essentially a shutter lock or what is called a dust cover. A lot of automotive locks have them. A lot of high security locks have them. My multi-lock interactive has one. I have a Medico on a 951 that has the same mechanism. It's basically spring loaded and you cannot keep those suckers open with just a normal bottom of keyway or top of keyway turning tool. You need something that spans across the bottom and the top, and you can just apply rotational tension to that shutter, and then you can pick the lock in between these two prongs here. That is what this is for. That's how I know this set was designed by a legitimate experienced lock picker, because any experienced lock picker is going to come across those locks eventually in their lockpick career. Also, I love this set because I have been doing this to my own set of lockpicks for about 10 years. I have one of these in my personal lockpick set that I use on the day-to-day. It's a Euro profile turning tool right here. I bought it from another company. Now I can get the same quality tools inside of a multi-pick set. So this is a rigid bottom of keyway or top of keyway, depending on if the lock cylinder is recessed enough or not. But this is a bottom of keyway turning tool. However, it has a cutout right here. I call that a Euro profile BOK, bottom of keyway turning tool. This is really great for when you are working with Euro profile cylinders. In America, we pick them like this. That's why we call it a Euro profile bottom of keyway turning tool. I use these in Euro profile cylinders because they are almost always highly paracentric and they have very, very narrow keyways. This cutout allows me to get with away of a lot. But another thing that I do with these Euro profile cylinders is as I pick them with the pin stack north of my keyway, I will take this turning tool and I will place it at the bottom of my keyway. Look how perfectly that sits in there. Can you see that? Does this video image do that justice? That is the whole purpose of that. The whole purpose of that is so that while I am picking this lock, I have a platform to pick off of. This will allow me to pick high-low pins more effectively. This will allow me to pick the shallow high pins more effectively. And this gives me something to pick off of. Instead of picking off of the bottom of my keyway in a paracentric keyway, I cannot reach the pins from the bottom to the top. But when I fill up that gap at the bottom of my keyway with this simple tool, I absolutely can navigate around that keyway now, and I can absolutely now feel all of the pins in this lock. That's how you use this turning tool. It's not just a tool that you can use here for profile cylinders with highly paracentric keyways. This is for cylinders that you want a platform to pick off of like that. Case in point, Schlage Everest C123. Schlage Everest C123. They are green belt locks on the Reddit karate belt system. They have a ginormous keyway that goes up and down, slightly paracentric, and I use the same tool as a platform to pick that green belt lock. This would be an orange belt lock if it was filled with the proper security pins, and I will get in that tomorrow because we can put all kinds of crazy nonsense in this lock to make it high security. But this is a Y1 keyway, super highly paracentric. That's how you use this tool. This tool is something you want in your collection. Moving forward, let's talk about these Z-wrenches. I love these Z-wrenches. I like the Lock Noob Z-wrenches more. If I were to advise, I would love to recommend that if you buy this Lock Noob set, go ahead and get the Lock Noob turning tools that he designed, these 6 turning tools. The ones that come with this set are more than good enough to pick locks that are dimple locks. It comes with 2 dimple picks. I love them. But man, I really also love the Lock Noob ones that are just single-ended. At the end of the day, it is the same end. These are the same sizes, okay? So I have a 1.2, a 5 millimeter, and a 1.2 millimeter. One is a short end, one is a longer end, one is tapered for different size keyways, but the thickness is going to be 1.2 millimeter and 1.5 millimeter. Excuse me, I repeated that. It's 1.2 and 1.2 and a 1.5. But they're completely different because they taper on one end and they have a different width on the other. So thickness versus width, I apologize. There's so much attention to detail in these picks, it's hard to get everything right all in one go. But if you were wanting to expand upon this set, I would recommend the Turning Tools Set 3 and these Lock Noob turning tools for the dimple picks. But I digress. Let's move on from the turning tools. These are quality turning tools. You can absolutely slay locks with these, but I love these as they complement this particular pick set. The lock picks that he has chosen to put in these are the number 3 and the number 6. These are going to be the most common dimple picks or flag sizes that you are going to use for all locks going all the way up to blue belt. So the most common dimple locks that I have in my collection that I have seen across Locksport, across YouTube, all use the same size. They're all based off of a left-handed keyway or a right-handed keyway. So that's why we have a left-handed flag and a right-handed flag. And they are all similar in nature of the size of pin. This is really great for all that. You are probably not going to get away with pin and pin technology like multi-lock with this particular flag because of the thickness of these flags. You're going to be picking a whole lot of Yales and Squires with this. You're going to slay those locks with this particular dimple pick set of 2. If you want to get into picking high security locks like I enjoy doing, like picking Multi-Lock Classic and picking Multi-Lock Interactive, then I would recommend supplementing this set with just the flags. You can get the flags independently and you can put them in your case and you can swap them out with the the hex head Allen wrench tool that comes with this. You can swap these out. Also, alternatively, if these were to bend or break, you can go onto the website, look up the flag number. So this is the Elite G Pro 06. There's even a serial number. This particular serial number, I'm not going to tell you because it's secret. It belongs to this particular pick set. I don't want you guys to go out and say, hey, I have this pick, I need it fixed or replaced. But I see the year, it was 2023. So if you were to bend or break this particular flag, you could go on to Multipick and you could request or you could purchase the 06 flag, the number 6 flag, and you could totally replace it. That makes these things super valuable. In comparison, there are other pick makers on the market that I won't name. Sparrows, Black Flag, version 2. The Sparrows Black Flag version 2, you cannot replace those pick tips. You buy the whole set for $75. If you bend or break one of those picks, you're just SOL. You're just shoot out of luck. So these are the best dimple picks for your pick case. They fit perfectly in here. I like that they're not the Lock Noob ones because they are much smaller in diameter. So they fit perfectly, 2 of these in this singular pocket back here. Given that I live in North America, I go to Locksport meetups. I don't regularly come across dimple locks in North America, but I have them in my collection. But I do take this pick set with me to meetups. I forgot to take it to the last one that I went to because I was so tired, but this will be going with me to every single one moving forward into the future because of how complete it is. So I really like this selection here. Those are really great picks. I think you could supplement those by purchasing a number 4, and I would purchase a number 7 if I remember correctly, because the number 4 is really great for, I would use the number 4 for multi-lock 7x7 and the multi-lock classic and the multi-lock pin and pin technology that is multi-lock interactive. That's what I have used that for moving forward. Let's take a look at his rakes. I really like his selection of rakes. I love his expression and take on the Bogota. He has a high-low, and then he has a single high-low. These things work fantastically. I like to use these on residential and commercial locks primarily. I don't use them on padlocks per se. Padlocks, unbeknownst to some of you, use a cylinder that is much smaller than a regular residential or commercial size key and knob cylinder. So a master lock padlock or an American lock padlock or a pack lock padlock are all made of a much smaller cylinder. Therefore, you would use a smaller rake like this or like this. These 2 are the most effective rakes that I have ever used. These were designed by Christina Palmer, and she has consulted probably 2/3 of the companies in the world on this rake design. I slay padlocks with these. I slay residential and commercial locks with these Bogota style rakes right here. He has a true Bogota style rake right here. And then he has these two right here that he came up with on his design, the Abona and Moneth. That's correct, the Bona and Moneth right here. So I would put these three in the category for raking in North America: Schlage, Kwikset, Dexter, Weiser, whatever. I've even raked a Medico lock with all classic pins, 5 classic pins in a Medico cylinder that was created in the 1970s. You can rake those suckers with a Bogota, and you can do a lot of amazing things with these picks right here. If you are more into collecting padlocks, if you like doing bridge raids, take these 2 picks with you specifically. If you don't take these 2, you're going to regret it. You can absolutely slay with these 2 picks. I love these 2 picks. I have them in my everyday carry pick set from a different manufacturer, but I'm transitioning everything that I go over to into Multipick and other companies that I think are much higher quality. So these are those 2 same picks, and a Bogota for the residential. This is just better. This is a higher quality. I'm integrating these into my set. I don't like parting out tools from complete pick sets like this. I find tools that I love, and then I go and I purchase seconds or thirds of it. That's what I'm doing with the Lock Noob set. I'm taking my absolute favorite things from it, and I'm purchasing them separately for Black Friday, and I'm making my own custom pick set. I would recommend to all of you to start with the Lock Noob set for your base set and just add to it slowly. I'm different. I'm a reviewer. I like to keep my sets intact, and if I like the set, then I buy a second set of it. So that's what I did with the Christina Palmer pick set. I love this set so much that I am actually purchasing all of the picks separately, and I have already purchased the turning tool separately so I can keep this intact for reviews. It would be terrible to try to do a review on a pick set that's missing pieces like I am right now. So I purchased duplicates of everything. So along with those 2 rakes that are best for padlocks, if we go off the same design that has a subdued, or we'll call it a wave style design instead of a Bogota design, then we can use these 2 for residential and commercial keyways as well. So this is its own just functional unit, and it just so happens that Lock Noob was like, hey, hold my beer, check this out, and they have he brought in his Bogota inspired picks, and I absolutely love this. I am going to be completely honest with all of you. Out of 53 reviews, this is my 53rd, I believe. This is the most complete rake set on the market to date. I don't have any other rake sets that are more complete than this. This is really great. I like the Christina Palmer rake set. It has 4 of those tools, and it has some subdued Bogotas. I think this is a great rake set as well. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I enjoy these set of rakes even more so. I would say this is number 1. I would say this is number 2, and I'd say number 3 is anything that I put together based on my experience, and it's really just going to be a take on what I see in the Lock Noob set. I don't think you could put together a better rake set than this inside of this Lock Noob edition. I can't think of another rake that this thing needs. A city rake? No. An S rake? No. A double snowman? No. You don't need any of that, but we do have we do have a ball pick here. So, wow, gosh, okay, well, we do have that. And this guy is for raking those wafer locks, those pesky wafer locks that are double-sided wafer locks, like an automotive lock, or the type of lock that you have on your drawer, whether it be in your kitchen or in your office space. They use wafer locks. That's what this is for. Wow, so I spoke too soon. If I were to put together a rake set, I guess I would throw this in, and boom. There, I can't think, okay, now I can't think of anything else to add to this. This guy's thought of everything. Let's move forward. So we do have this particular tool. This is called a probe. This is really great for taking apart Schlage locks and certain quick set locks. I have used that for F-series Schlage locks, I believe, where once you can rotate the cylinder, whether it be that you picked or bypassed that lock, once you rotate the cylinder and you have access to be able to rotate the actual knob, there will be a detent or a type of button almost that you need a probe to press to be able to remove that knob so you can actually get to the bolt so you can service the lock. It's also another sneaky way to just get into some place without having a key. Also, this is perfect for tubular locks. So I can, if I'm using one of the turning tools correctly, let's say this guy, and I'm putting tension on my tubular lock, and I'm providing that, let's just call it counter rotation or counterclockwise rotation, I can use this probe for indexing or for picking the pin tumblers in a tubular lock, which is you're going to see those on bicycle locks, you're going to see them on candy machines, you're going to see them on soda machines, a lot of commercial industry. But if you go to, let's say, Walmart in North America or whatever you have over in Europe, the most common lock you're going to see for bicycle locks, you're going to want to have this tool for that job. This tool is indispensable. In the past, I've always taken a high quality tool that I have broken or damaged and I have cut it off, and that's what I use. Now I don't have to do that. Now I have a high quality tool just for that purpose, and that's what that is for. And then we just have an amazing selection of picks for single pin picking. This guy absolutely loves his rounded hooks. If you love rounded hooks like I do, you're going to love this set. I use a lot of flat hook and a lot of Jims. They have a lot of flat hooks and Jims. They have flat hooks in the Christina Palmer pick set, and they just came out with a new Jim style hook, or similar to a half diamond hook. Just came out. It's going to be for sale with a Black Friday, I believe. It's called the Facet, and it is in 0.6 millimeter. And I am going to be buying that to add to this set. These are all rounded hooks from what I can tell. I don't see any flat hooks. So if you love the rounded hooks like I do, this is the set for you. And it's just every single depth that you can imagine. I see 6 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 6 millimeter, and I see all different types of stuff. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and pull out. I think this feels like a 4 millimeter. So let's go ahead, 0.4 millimeter, excuse me, and 0.6 millimeter. Let's pull this out in inches and let's measure it in, yep. So this is coming in 15.5 thou or 0.4 millimeter. Since I don't want anybody to call me a liar, let's go ahead and put this in millimeter. Watch it say 0.4 millimeter, and it is 0.40 millimeters. So for some reason, the Elite V62 don't state that it's 0.4 millimeter, but let's see what happens if I turn it over to the other side. There it is. I love that attention to detail. They don't have to do that. 0.4 millimeter, the 0.4. Can you see that there? I love that they do that. So, and if I take the 0.6, this is another 0.4. I can just guess these off of feel. So this is a 0.6, and it says 0.6 right there. If I turn it over, we have a really neat design of all of the rakes, and I see a double ball and a single ball snowman. I see an S rake. I see a half diamond. I see a deforest half diamond. I love that they do that. So no matter how you put these in your pick case, if you put them in this way, you don't need to measure them and you don't need to bend them like I do. You could just see that if you see a design on one side that looks like a bunch of lockpicks, that's 0.6 millimeter, or it's going to come in at around, I think it's 23 thou. Let's take a look. It's going to come in at, yep, exactly. It's going to come in at 23 thousandths of an inch. So if you put these in your case and you are in a hurry, you're on the job, you're picking locks, you're at a competition, locksport meetup, you put them in the case like this, you can know that these are 23 thou or 0.6 millimeter. If I take my lighter gauge one and I put it in backwards like this, it clearly states 0.04 on that side. So that's a really fun way of doing that. I love that he has shallow hooks. I love that he has medium hooks, and I love that he has deep hooks, and I love how tight these fit in the case. I recently was on a bridge raid in Houston, which is, oh man, it's like 150 miles from my house where I live, and I lost one of my turning tools because I had it in a Peterson style leather case. Peterson stole this idea from Multipick, in my opinion. Peterson Manufacturing started making picks and pick cases around 1998 out of Rochester, New York. Multipick has been in business since 1997. These cases are absolutely phenomenal. They're all leather, and then they have this nice felt on the inside. It's just gorgeous. Everything is a super tight fit, and you're not going to lose your tools. It has a flap to protect the profiles, and these fold up, and I actually have positive contact with all of the Velcro here, or as some of you like to call, hook and loop. Let's take a look at our other turning tools. So we saw that we had a Euro profile style turning tool. I get a second one here that is of a what appears to be a similar thickness, maybe a little bit thinner, but it's more flexible. So if I wanted, oh man, you know what I can do with this? Take a look at this. This is something I've been working on. I'm working on a red belt lock, and I'm working on an It's called a Ruco 600, I believe, but it has gin spools. So what you do is you take this Euro profile, this Euro profile style turning tool. That's what we call it in North America. You place that here on the bottom of the lock, okay? And then you can take this guy, put it at the top, or better yet, I would take this guy and put it at the top. Let me find the correct size. So it'd be this one. That's what I love about all these turning tools. You can find the right one for this. And now I can do float picking. Check this out. I can push here, I can push back here. This is how you do float picking, like that. And I can pick this lock, believe it or not, I can pick this lock like that by providing counter rotation with my thumb and rotational force with my index finger. That is what this is for. That is what you want to use it for. Alternatively, if I was picking in a vise, I can place this turning tool in this side, but given that this keyway, I wouldn't want to do that. This is a Y1 keyway. So that is what, if this was a different keyway, I could do that. So alternatively, I can do it on the opposite direction. That is the benefit of these turning tools. You can absolutely play around with these and find every single type of high security lock in existence. You're going to be able to finagle and finesse and find a way to compromise that lock. I don't see any shortcomings to this. Let's finish talking about this pick set moving forward. I like the turning tool. This is really great for raking. I'm gonna be completely honest. If you're going to rake a lock, you wanna use bottom of the keyway turning tension primarily. You're gonna wanna place a turning tool here at the bottom, and you're gonna wanna rake the lock. Some people prefer rigid. I prefer, when I rake locks, I prefer these long half twist turning tools. Why? Because I don't want to put too much tension while I am raking. I'm not gonna be able to rake this lock because I'm pretty sure it's filled with security pins, but I like to apply this type of tension like that. I don't want to put too much turning force. I'm attempting to do this. I haven't even done this yet on video, but I don't want to put too much with my rigid, but you have that as an option. The options, that is what this set is about. It's all about options. So I don't know what else to talk about. I could go into more detail about these individual picks for single pin picking. There's really no need. Every single one of these is a hook. Every single one of these is rounded. And from what I can tell, I can't tell if any of these are considered flat or rounded, but I do have two very deep hooks that have a little bit more surface area for the rounding. But honestly, I would call all of these rounded, and some of these are considered what Multipick calls thins. And thins are really great replacements for diamond or gym style hooks, but yet they have this nice recessed cutaway here, this little cutaway here for when you are picking high-low pins. So when you have a crazy bidding and you are in the challenge lock community, or you have a locksmith that actually knows what they're doing, these are very effective on high-low pins. You can get under a very low cut pin to pick the pin behind it. In this set in total, let's take a look at how many are in the 4mm range, 0.4, excuse me, and how many are in the 0.6mm range. So it should be 1 for 1, but we'll go ahead and see. So I have 4 and I have 3, I have 4 and 4, I have 5 and 4, 6 and 4, 6 and 5, 6 and 6. Okay, let's see. I have a few more here. 7 and 6, 8 and 6, 9 and 6. So I have not, oh shoot, man, there's so many tools in here. There's so many tools. So guys, I have a whole bunch. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that coming in about 15.5 thou, which is 0.4mm. All of the sizes that you need. We have shallower hooks all the way to our deep hooks right here. That is exactly what you need. And then in the 0.6, we have those as well. Why do we have two different sizes? Well, for one, we have keyways that are more highly paracentric. So I'd want to use the 0.4mm on a Y1 keyway, which is quite prevalent in Europe and anything overseas. I like using 0.4mm. It's going to give you more access to locks that are paracentric. Paracentric meaning keyways that have wording that overlap each other. However, they are more delicate. So ideally, you choose the tool, the right tool for the keyway. You want to use a tool that's going to not bend as you're applying lots of pressure, as you are trying to defeat security pins that are fighting back with you and they are pushing what's called counter rotation. So you're always going to want to use the thickest tool for that keyway, the thickest tool for the job. But when all else fails, bust out the 0.4mm, and I promise you it'll open like sesame. My friends, I don't know what else there is to say about this lockpick set. I love it. People have been asking a lot about it. I went to a recent locksport meetup where a new friend named Sean was like, hey man, did you bring that lock noob set? I'm like, oh my gosh, of all the things that I brought, this is the one thing I forgot to bring, and I will be taking it with me everywhere I go moving forward. Also, I was terrified of destroying one of these tools before the lead up to this review, but I love this pick set. I'm going to be purchasing the turning tool set of 8 tools that are in this. He has I think that's what it's called, the 8 set turning tool. It may be more than that. I could have it wrong. Maybe it's a set of 11. Whatever the set of turning tools that are in this set, I'm purchasing that to add to my everyday carry. I'm going to be purchasing the G Pro Elite set of 13-piece set with the 10 turning tools for review. And I'm going to be purchasing a whole bunch of rakes for review. I use a lot of half diamond. I use a lot of gem style hooks, and I use a lot of sharps. So this is considered a sharp or a thin. I use a lot of those, and I use a lot of flat hooks. I'm not super familiar with using rounded hooks. I think this is an amazing set, but I look forward to using all the other multi-pick product lineup and creating my own dream pick set. I'm going to be buying a pick case similar to this, but obviously multi-pick and better high quality, that zips up, because that's what I want for myself. I'm buying a zip up pick case, and I'm actually buying an empty pick case like this because I want to see what is going to fit best for my needs. If I'm going to a locksport meetup or a lock picking competition, I prefer this lay flat style pick case like this, and I can put more tools in it. But if I'm going to a bridge raid, or if I'm going to be going someplace where I'm going to be picking locks in the wild, I want something that zips up, and that's what I want to buy from Multipick during their Black Friday sale today. So I will be doing another review tomorrow, Saturday, that's going to be on this cutaway cylinder. It deserves its own review. And this cutaway cylinder and this pick set are both on sale today. Check out the link in the description of this video down below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Is there a pick set that is more complete than this lock pick set? If there is, let me know so I can go out and buy it, because I don't know of any pick sets that are more applicable and more utilitarian. Is that a correct word? I don't know. More practical than this, more complete than this. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below, and check out the Black Friday sale in the description, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Mr.